What's up, everyone? You are tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 814, coming at you from Build a Scene Radio, which is buildascene.com, megarockradio.net, and 107.1 KFGD out of Fenton or St. Louis, Missouri. I'm having a day. We'll talk about that in a moment. But metalshop101.com. What's up, everyone? You are tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show. And number 814 coming at you from. I have audio coming in from somewhere. There it is. Okay. I'm just going to go with it, and we're going to bring up my guest for the evening, Derek Woods. What's up, Derek?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. I'll fill everybody in. I got home like 5 minutes ago from Ohio, and I didn't want to reschedule because the last time we tried to do this was episode 811, and Derek was stuck in a different state. But let's start there. You were at NOM, right?
I was out there, and of course on the East Coast. That's in Anaheim, California, and on the East Coast there was a pretty big snowstorm happening, so all flights were canceled, and we were stuck in LA for 4 extra days, which, I mean, a pretty good place to get stuck. So it worked out.
It was a lot warmer there than it was here, I guarantee it.
Yeah, it was nice too. We did a run of shows out there as well, and it was really nice to be in LA.
So tell us a little bit about the Derek Woods band. And I say but the's not really part of the band name, right?
I mean, it's just Derek Woods band, but I mean, you can throw a "the" in there if you want. It's all right.
So tell us a little bit about the history. How did the band come together?
Well, it's kind of crazy. The band's been together now for 13 years. It's 14 years this year. I keep forgetting it's a new year already. So 14 years now. And it all kind of came from, I was actually living in Los Angeles, and I released some solo stuff, just a couple singles, and started playing some shows under my name, just kind of a solo effort. And eventually I wanted to kind of bring in the rest of the band, and ended up moving back to Pittsburgh area. And then Derek Woods Band started. And we've been playing now for 14 years, all over the place.
So the members that are playing with you were always from Pittsburgh? No LA members, or?
No. So even whenever I was in LA, most of the members were actually from Pittsburgh. I believe one of the musicians were from New York, but now even, it's all mostly trying to think where our guys are from. So I'm from the Pittsburgh area originally. Our drummer's from Pittsburgh area. Our bass player's from Erie, PA originally, and our saxophone player is from New York, okay. Buffalo, New York.
My daughter that is not in the room right now is a sax player as of this year.
Oh, cool. Awesome instrument.
I say as of this year because she played clarinet, and their school has a very tiny marching band. Like there's 12 kids, and 3 of them live in this house. And they needed a sax player, and my daughter was like, well, I have a sax. I haven't learned it yet. And she learned it so she could play.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
But
how's the process been during the learning process?
Listen, my 3 kids, they were actually on episode 800 of this show. Between them, they play about 20 instruments, and they all sing. They've been in musicals. My daughter Emmeline has sang backups with Blackridge at 2 different Rock for Life shows. So, it's music is kind of their thing.
That's awesome.
So, my son will tell you he learned how to play the flute to spite somebody. So, yeah, he was telling that story the last 2 days while we were at the college campus visit. But, all right, so tell us, we're going to listen to 2 of your songs off of your Lucky 13 EP, which was released this past Halloween. follow the cards and from now until then. Pick one of those and do like a MTV moment and give us a story about it.
So we this past year to celebrate the 13 just felt like a good anniversary to celebrate. And celebrating that anniversary, we did a tour all over the U.S. and it was called Lucky 13 Tour. And with that, we decided to release an EP, and it's called Lucky 13 EP. And we picked some songs that are fan favorites and songs that we've been playing for a long time, and some songs that kind of had old recordings of them, and that's all they had, other than various live recordings here and there. The studio recordings were all pretty old, so we decided to do a refreshed version of select songs and release it on Halloween as Lucky 13 album.
13 is like, the opposite of 31.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Just want to make sure everybody caught that.
Yeah.
So we'll give both of those tracks a listen in our first break. But this is your first time on the show, which means you haven't answered the official and unofficial question, and there's a good chance you haven't heard them either. And I love when that happens. So the official build the scene question on the Pennsylvania Rock Show is, who's your Dave Grohl? And by that, I mean, who do you want to go up on stage with and perform one of their original songs?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, oh, wow. There's a lot of people that are big ones to do that with. Of course, I mean, I love a lot of songwriters. I love a lot of rock and roll bands, but I love a lot of songwriters as well. That kind of is the roots of my writing. And of course, one of my large idols is Bob Dylan, and he's still alive and out there playing. So I would maybe say Bob Dylan for sure.
I feel like that's a pretty cool call. So here's the unofficial question. This one came a little further down the line, and that's what is the best pizza you've had because you're a musician? So you have to link it to something you've done as a musician.
So, wow, that is a really tough toss up. There's a place in Hollywood, in West Hollywood, called the Rainbow, and Rainbow Pizza is, I would say, the best. There's a second though in there, in Garrettsville, Ohio, place Nelson's Ledges, and so they have festivals there. Beautiful venue, and they have disco pizza, which is really good. The pizza's rolled up in the crust, super good. But I'm gonna say Rainbow Pizza comes in at number one.
Is that the Rainbow that Lemmy used to hang out at?
Yep, that's it. Yeah. And I mean, anytime you go in there, any time of the day, it could be afternoon, it could be late at night, you're pretty sure to see someone in there. Rub shoulders and hang out, and most times the people are friendly, and it's just a cool spot to hang out.
Very cool. So I'm going to throw at least one more question at you in this segment, and this one, kind of ties in with a new show that I'm doing, which is called the Pennsylvania Rock Show Flashback, where I go back and pick songs from the early days of the show. The show is 21 years old. So,
wow. Congrats,
so we pick,
man. That's awesome.
Thank you. So we pick a song and then we go back in time using a DeLorean. And it actually spawned from this question, which is, you're leaving a show and there's a DeLorean sitting outside with its door up and a flux capacitor in the back seat. Where are you going where are you going in time, and what band are you going to play with? Because Marty played with Chuck Berry's cousin, so that's an option.
Holy cow! That So I would go back and maybe do a show with the artist T-Rex. I don't know. That's a tough one. There's so many great artists that aren't here anymore, and that's a tough one. I'm gonna just throw it out there, and just first thing that came to my head was T-Rex. Great rock and roll group.
I am remembering if anybody is on here right now and would like to help me test something, as soon as I remember how to do it, there it is. So we have a Roku and Fire TV app that's like brand new, like maybe 2.5 weeks old. And there is a way to send this live feed to it. And I just turned it on. So if anybody is out there watching us live right now and would like to go test that for me, that would be awesome. It's on. I don't know if it works. So we have about 30 seconds, which is perfect. You have 30 seconds on national TV to tell the people watching a commercial about your band why they should come check you out. What are you telling them?
We write songs from the heart and we bring them to the stage and bring the energy. So we're all about the fun. We're all about bringing you some rock and roll songs, Americana songs that make you feel good. So definitely come out and see us if you haven't seen us yet, or if you have, come join us again.
And with that, we're going to hear Follow the Cards. And from now until then, both from Derek Woods' band, and we will be right back. Hey, it's Bill. You are tuned in to the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 814. With me tonight is Derek from Derek Woods' band. If you're just tuning in, he likes to hang out at the Rainbow and eat their disco pizza. Disco pizza was not from there, right? It was from the other place.
That's right. Disco pizza's from Nelson Ledges in Ohio.
There. Speaking of disco, above your head, it says follow the call of the disco ball. You have to tell me what that's about.
Well, I built a little stage area. This is in my home, and put up some lights and was trying to decide which neon lights I wanted to put up there. And it was kind of between a lightning bolt and I had that sign as well. And it seemed like a nice little theme for the stage here.
So there is Becca Lee, who I'm not sure who that is, but hi, Becca. Messaging us from the Kick website. Anyway, we said hi. We're gonna move on. All right, Derek.
Hey.
So let's say you're headed out on your next tour, and for some reason you hire me to drive a bus, which is a bad idea. Don't do that. What music are we going to listen to in between shows when we're traveling?
Well, a lot of the tours that we do, especially on long drives, we'll each take turn picking an artist. Then sometimes we'll listen to their whole discography from the very beginning, first album, straight through to each. So like Aerosmith, for example, we've listened to from the first album straight through and listen to how they've progressed. And then sometimes we'll even branch off and listen to some of the solo albums like Steven Tyler's solo. But we've done it with all different artists. So that's one of the big theme things we'll do. And sometimes we'll go through and listen to what was released this week or what was released this month.
Bring up Steven Tyler and Aerosmith. Youngblood has been showing up all over the place, including on new Aerosmith stuff. Are you familiar with him at all?
I am. Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think, like, in one way, I think it's cool that he's bringing these artists back to the table, but at the same time, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. Is he there because he was at Ozzy's last thing, or is he there because he should be there? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think, in the big picture, time will tell with all of that. But really, what I think also too is that rock and roll does need to live on in whatever form it's going to live on in, and there needs to be new artists, and I guess we all need to be open to what's going to be next year, what's new. Even groups like, I know a lot of people, they weren't really thrilled about like Greta Van Fleet, and they were saying they were a copy of Led Zeppelin. And then there's a couple other groups that kind of were like that too. They're like, they're copying this person, which that's a whole different discussion of, like, even going back to rock and roll started from, they would say, oh, that's copying blues musicians. But what's next for rock and roll? Is it going to live on? Is it going to, and it's got to live on through new artists coming out, because there's a lot of the old artists aren't making music anymore. They aren't releasing music, and that's why I supported Greta Van Fleet as well. They might sound like Led Zeppelin, but Led Zeppelin's not releasing music.
Right. I
So I say yes to Youngblood.
Okay. I like. I wish I would have worded that better, but like, I think it's cool. Like, Aerosmith redid some stuff with him, but then if I remember correctly, they made some new stuff with him as well. Um,
Yeah, so he's doing a really big thing that I've noticed. So I don't know a ton of his music yet either. I'll put that
Me
out there.
either.
I'm not like, I don't know a ton of his music. I'm still kind of, I'm always seeking out all right, what's new right now? What's, getting some buzz, and why is it getting the buzz? What's the reason for that? And I see the trend that he's kind of doing right now is he is collaborating with a lot of musicians. So he's collaborating with Smashing Pumpkins. Of course, he did the thing with Aerosmith recently. So, and then he did all the Ozzy tributes. So it's kind of interesting to see that angle of what he's doing right now. Obviously, what comes next after that, but it's interesting to kind of see that happening right now.
I I haven't really had a chance to take a look at much of his stuff. Um, but I did watch him do a cooking video.
Really?
Yeah. Um, I am trying to figure out. Here we go. I don't know who Brenda Lee is, but she is gone because she was spamming us.
Oh,
um, um. So yeah, I watched him. I think he was making chicken, if I remember correctly.
oh.
And yeah, that was maybe it's along the lines of my pizza question. Way to draw people to his YouTube. It got me there.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, so what is something that the Derek Woods band does that um that might be unique and get the listeners and viewers to check you out?
We do unique. I mean, I don't know. We don't try to jump on any trends. We just do our own thing. Through the years, there's been a lot of different. We play a lot of different genres of music. We are kind of classified as like Americana rock and roll, but we do hop along a lot of different genres. Um, we've played with a lot of different types of artists as well. So that's, we just try to stay true to ourselves. We, all the members of the band have a lot of different influences of what we all like. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different stuff, that goes into the ingredients of what the band is. So I would say, it's kind of an authentic sound, I would think maybe. Um, and we have a little bit of something for everyone. I would think.
Um, when and this might be a hard one, or it might be the easiest question I asked on the night, depending on. Can you pinpoint the moment where you knew that you wanted to go up on stage and perform?
Yeah, so pretty young age. I've been performing on stage. My first time ever was on stage performing. Um, I did original songs, and I was 12 years old. So I've been playing since I was young. I come from a musical family. My brother Ryan performs. My dad Tim performs, and even at a young age, he taught us about harmonizing, and so that was always music was always around me, and I always, from a very very young age, wanted to be on stage. So at 12 years old, I got on stage, and it's been pretty consistent since.
You play shows with your brother, correct?
So I do shows with my dad as the Woods Family Band as well, and my brother Ryan joins us every once in a while. He has his own group, and it's always a treat whenever it's all of us together. But schedules don't always allow that, so it's
Um,
always fun though doing stuff with family.
is your dad in a band as well, or other
Yeah, so
than?
he releases music solo. He has a couple, a few albums out, and so he does stuff solo. Then he has Tim Woods Band that he'll perform with as well. And then, of course, we have a group together, Woods Family Band, and that's always a blast doing that.
And then you said Ryan has his own band. What's he in?
Ryan has a group. They're kind of a funk rock type group. They're called Habitat.
Oh, I have heard of them. I
Yeah,
haven't had them on the show, but I have heard of them.
nice.
All right, so we're going to take our second break, and we will be back in just a moment with Derek. Hey, we're headed into segment number 3 of episode number 814. As you guys know, Dressky Entertainment and Music from 412 work in collaboration and give away 2 tickets to select Dressky Entertainment shows. I just added the show that I'm going to give away tonight, like 4 days ago. So only one person signed up. So instead of spinning the wheel, I'm just going to announce that Keith Ladig won the tickets to the Rock Done Right tour, which is Gary Burke the third, Noble Hops, and Jake and why am I blanking on his name? Nick. It's Nick and Jake, who were both in Tarach and Sky together. So Keith, you know the deal. You've won a few times. Keep an eye on your email, and you will be receiving the information on how to get your tickets from Dressky later on tonight. And for those of you who are not familiar with that situation, you just go to musicfrom412.com, click on contest, and we have a whole list of shows. And you just click on the show and follow the directions to enter. It's really easy. You send us your email address and you share that show page. And then once I've spun that wheel and Dressky has given away those tickets, we delete all that information and your email is gone. We don't keep it, and it's used for nothing other than to email the person who wins. So there you have it. Now, on to segment number 3 with Derek. I wish I could remember. We have Slaughter tickets coming up. I remember that. And Lynch Mob. Wow, I just added a bunch like
That sounds awesome.
4 days ago. So go check it out. And usually we either pick a band that people would know, or we look for bands that we feature on Music from 412 or Build a Scene. And whoever they happen to be opening for is who the tickets are given away for, so that we can promote the local band. So anyway, so Derek, if you had to pick one, this would probably be hard. Maybe one or two or three bands that you would say really piqued your interest and got you up and working as that musician early on. Not including your dad, because you clearly have said that he was part of it, but what bands would you say have gotten you here?
Well, phew. So I was kind of a little weird kid with with Walkman headphones on and listening to Deep Purple at like 8 years old, and of course Aerosmith was right in there as well. Trying to think of some other artists that were around that time. Right now, I mean, Bob Dylan's a huge one to me, but I've always liked Bob Dylan, but something sparked with him a little later on in years whenever I really started getting into songwriting more and reading the lyrics and really realizing, the how those made me feel whenever I read certain lyrics. Musically though, like the first songs that like really hit me myself, Deep Purple, Aerosmith, stuff like that. Of course, I grew up with Grateful Dead as well. Grateful Dead was a really big part of my upbringing because my parents followed the Dead around and would actually go on tour, and so it was always on in my house. And so whenever I hear Grateful Dead, I get almost like a home feeling from that.
Um, did you have you been to a Grateful Dead show?
Never whenever Jerry Garcia was alive, but
That was gonna be my follow up.
yeah, no, but I saw Bob Weir. But a lot of Dead and Company shows, Further, The Dead, a bunch of the different variations, but never actual, Grateful Dead when Jerry was alive.
Um, let's see. Oh, so my friend Jazz, who runs Jazz's Rock and Road show and has his own studio called Rattle Clack in the Penn Hills area, has played one of his band's original songs, Good Day. The band is called Half Wheel, at the South Pole.
What?
And yeah, and Metallica has played in Antarctica, and Kiss has played to sharks in a bay. What is a non-traditional place that you would like to play a Derek Woods song?
Holy cow. Man, you got some wild questions, man. I love it. It's so cool. Where would I want to play? I mean, someday if we could go to other planets and set up and play, that'd be great. Somewhere, outer space.
See, now you're kind of leaning towards Ace Frehley there, and
Yeah.
I saw Ace since I brought him up. Saw him at his last show at Jurgles, and I almost didn't make it because I couldn't find anybody to go with me.
Wow.
So
I
glad
remember seeing that show pop up on their schedule. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was not that much afterward.
You made it though. You made
away.
it to the show.
I did. It was like
it
the 20th person. I was like, I have a free ticket. All you have to do is say yes. I was like, I'll even pick you up. It took like 20 people to get someone to finally say yes. I couldn't believe it.
Good show.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the bass player in his band, I don't know his name, but he had a ball. Like, it was fun watching him have fun.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
I don't remember. Wow, I don't remember. Ringleader, I think, was one of the bands that opened.
Okay.
That was that night.
Have you seen Kiss before?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've seen Kiss too, and for some reason it's weird. They keep coming up in the but Aerosmith. I saw them with Aerosmith. I guess Aerosmith's the theme of this tonight.
Did you see them at Star Lake when they were doing the Honking on Bobo tour?
Is that what it was? It was
Yeah,
Aerosmith and Kiss together.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually I tell this all the time on the show. That was my least favorite show of all time.
Really?
Um, because if I remember correctly, first of all, they were touring on the Blues album, which wasn't that's not a make or break for me. I like blues,
Yeah.
but Kiss went on first and did the fire breathing and blood spitting and flying over the crowd, and then Aerosmith came out and sat on stools and played blues, and it was a bad mix, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And I also remember that Joe Perry did a lot of the singing that night, and they only played for like 40 minutes. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the only time I saw Aerosmith, and
Really?
I'm not holding it against them because they're a great
I
band.
saw them on their last tour, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, but
it kind of blew me away. Actually, the first time seeing them with Kiss, I wasn't that impressed. Although I was a fan of them, but that show wasn't very impressive. And seeing them on this last tour, I was pretty blown away. It was really, really, really good.
Different band, same situation, sort of. My brother and I went and saw Motley Crue on their Carnival of Sins, I think it's Carnival of Sins, and very out there. Like they were on stage, but there was so much going on the monitors and people coming out, and I was like, okay, we need to see them again. And they came back with Kiss, and my wife went with us. And partway through Motley Crue's set, she looked at me. She goes, "I don't care who this band comes with. I am never coming to watch them again." So she definitely not a Crue fan.
I've never seen them live. I'm sure it'd be a pretty wild show.
It was different. That's what they had Cirque du Soleil going on above them while they were playing, and there was some. I'll tell you some things real quick off the air, but I don't have a lot of time because I gotta get the show ready. All right, so I'm gonna ask you. Let's go 2 more questions. I'm going to change to your website, and why don't you tell us a little bit about what people should be looking for there soon?
Yeah, so there's a lot going to be dropping on that site pretty soon, DerekWoodsBand.com. We are in the studio right now, and we are messing around with some songs, and we're gonna have some new music hitting this year, and of course we're gonna be hitting the road as well as we do every year. We usually do a U.S. tour. We're kind of all over the place. We're gonna be branching out as well, so we're gonna definitely be hitting the road, supporting what we release this year. So there's gonna be a lot coming on that website very, very soon.
I clicked on the Big Cartel link.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. There. So let me think. One last question. What can we go with? How about let's stick with the movie. Since I did the DeLorean question earlier. You're sitting on a bench and your musical idol sits down beside you, and you have a chance to do the Forrest Gump thing and just rattle on with them if you can keep their attention. What question are you going to ask them to get that conversation started?
Whoa. Wow, man. What am I going to ask them to get the conversation started of?
So first, who are you going to talk to?
Well, since it's been the theme all night, I'm going to say Steven Tyler.
Okay. And what are you going to ask him to get him to stick around so you can have this rambling on conversation with him?
I would, of course, I would want to talk about music. I would want to talk about his vocal styles and techniques. That's what I would go for. But I would ask him what his favorite pizza is.
Nice. I like it. um, so Rocky, who owns Music from 412, has a show, and he asked Ryan Roxy of Alice Cooper that question while I was in the crowd, and Ryan kind of looked at him like, "What?" So I bet that will hold his attention. He's going to look at you and be intrigued if that's the question.
That's awesome.
But hey, Derek, I want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had a great time.
You're welcome. Everybody, make sure you go to DerekWoodsBand.com. Keep an eye there for upcoming shows. Kind of alluded that you need to check that out. And since they are in the studio, there will be new music at some point. Do you have a date picked for that, or is it still pretty early on?
Well, we know we're going to be hitting the road spring and summer and fall, so it's going to come before then. So we haven't dropped any dates yet, but it'll be coming really soon.
Okay. So once again, make sure you check out DerekWoodsBand.com, musicfrom412.com, and of course, buildthescene.com, where we broadcast new shows each and every Monday. And don't forget to check out music from the 412's Fire TV and Roku app. And we will catch you next week. Hey, we are at the end of the show, and that means that I am about to spin the wheel that you see right above my head. And the winner will get 2 tickets from Dusty Entertainment to go see No Resolve with Shallow Side and Above Snakes on Sunday, February 22nd. That show is at the Craft House and all ages. I had 3 people sign up: Nikki Praza, Mike Whittington, and Keith Laydig. I'm going to hit shuffle 2 times and spin. And the name it lands on will be our winner. Nikki Praza. You know how this works. Keep an eye on your email, and you will get an email from me, and then a follow-up email from Dusty Entertainment telling you how to get the tickets from them. If this is the first time you're seeing this, you don't know how it works, go to musicfromthe412.com/contest to enter for a chance to win 2 tickets to a future Dusty Entertainment concert.